Good evening, instructors. We are Team 19, and welcome to our Sprint 4 presentation. Once again, in case you've forgotten, we are developing an application that is going to be used by the Thon Technology Committee with the purpose of improving the organization/logistics of the Thon Dance Marathon event. In this particular sprint, we focused on finalizing the space assignment functionality, which was originally created in Sprint 2, as well as implementing another functionality for our stakeholders. First, in our development goals, we finally implemented the search functionality in the space assignment window so that users can search for a particular organization or space instead of manually scrolling through the tables. Second, we added some defensive programming measures to catch any errors that may surface during the program's runtime. Finally, we created/implemented the next major functionality for this project, the Thon Pass screen. This screen shows the current capacity of the Bryce Jordan Center, or BJC for short, and whether or not there is available space to let in Thon event attendees. Also, this screen mimics the ability for the Thon Technology Committee to communicate/notify about available space to other Thon committees. So with that, let's begin the user-facing demonstration. Before starting the program, please ensure that you have started the server to the Java database in NetBeans, as well as created a connection to the Thon database. Now let's start the program. As you can see, here is the login screen. Enter any of the username and passwords available for you in the output window. These are, of course, only for testing purposes. So as we discussed earlier about adding defensive measures to this program, let's say you you input the wrong credentials into the login screen. So let's click Submit. Here the dialog window shows up that the user has not been authenticated and that you need to enter an existing username and password. So let's enter the correct credentials and head into the program. As you can see on the left side of the main menu screen, we have finally implemented the user profile for this program. It includes the phone number for the contact as well as the positions during Thon. On the right, we will now go into one of the functionalities. Once again, discussing adding defensive measures to this program, if you were to click the Go button without selecting a menu option, another dialog window will pop up telling you to choose a menu option. So we'll click OK, and now we'll go into the Space Assignment Controller. Continuing on talking about defensive measures to the program, we'll first discuss the defensive measures to this particular screen. So if the user has not selected an organization or a space or both, if you click Assign, a dialog window will pop up telling you to choose an organization and a space in the tables. Moving on finally to the search functionality. If you enter any organization, let's say you enter Abington, and click Search Organizations, the following organization will be highlighted as long as there is an organization that matches what is in the search text field. If you only know part of the name, let's say Ascend. Let's say you're not sure how it ends and click on Search Organizations. It will find it for you. Currently, we don't have the functionality to highlight multiple rows. For example, Kappa. It will highlight the last instance of what is found for that particular query. And the same goes for the space tables. So let's go back now and visit the new functionality that we have just implemented, the Thon Pass functionality. Let's click on Thon Pass and click on Go. As discussed in our development goals, this particular screen, the Thon Pass screen, displays the current capacity of the BJC and whether or not space is available for Thon event attendees to come in. This screen also mimics the ability for the Thon Technology Committee to communicate with other committees about available space. For example, if you click on Finance or the Hospitality Committee and click Notify, a dialog window will be displayed saying that the Hospitality Committee has been notified. This is just a formality. It only mimics this ability. And now we will move on to the code overview. We will first begin with the Navigation Controller class. So here we have declared and instantiated the ThonPass controller class. We've also created the method request ThonPass controller. This method sets the navigation controller in the ThonPass controller class to the parent copy of the navigation controller, for the reason that if the back button is clicked in the ThonPass UI, it has the single instance of the navigation controller class, as we have discussed in earlier sprints, to ensure that any user interaction with the program is saved. So let's move on to the main menu UI class. In the Go button action perform method, it checks if the ThonPass radio button has been selected, and if so, it sets the main menu UI class to false for set visibility, and it requests that the ThonPass controller class be instantiated. So moving on to the space controller class, we have created 4 methods: the request search organization list, request search space list, the get list of organization rows found, and the get list of space rows found. So these 2 methods here obtain the search query from the organization or space JTables in the space assignment UI class. And from there, it requests that the organization and space list array list search for this particular query. And based on if it's found or not, it will set the Boolean to that value. In the event that the Boolean does return true, the space assign UI class will then obtain the list of organization or space rows in order to highlight them in the JTable. Moving on to the organization list and space list classes, they basically have the same logic for searching. So they take in the search query as a parameter, and it has a Boolean to set if the organization or space has been found based on this query. So the for loop scans through every row in the organization list of organizations and checks to see if any of those values contain or equals the query that is being searched. And if so, the row that is found with this particular search query will be added to the organization rows found array list of integers. In the event that no value in the list match the search query, then the search org found Boolean will return false. This is the ThonPass controller, which displays the ThonPass UI as well as gets the current capacity from the current capacity updater class. Here, as you can see here, this is what instantiates the ThonPass UI screen and displays it. Moving on to the ThonPass UI class, here the JLabel obtains the current capacity of the BJC from the getCurrentCapacity method here in the ThonPass controller. And based on this value, space available checks it and displays either true or false, depending if it goes over or is under the full capacity of the BJC. And below that, here are the radio buttons for all of the Thon committees, as well as a back, notify, and exit button. In the notify button action perform method, it checks if any of the radio buttons have been selected, and if so, it will display a dialog message that shows that the corresponding committee has been notified about available space in the BJC. For this particular sprint, the biggest issue that we had was with the search logic. When we first got it to work, we noticed that if there were multiple instances of the search query, let's say kappa, as you had seen earlier from the demonstration, only the last instance of that search query would be highlighted. So now we will try to implement in the next sprint the functionality for multiple rows to be highlighted. We will also fine-tune all the other classes as well. So thank you for listening to this presentation.